fire. We'll give them hell.
Approaching the drop zone.
Let's tango!
Hello everyone, I'm John Raffis and welcome to Treyarch. If you were able to join us for the multiplayer or blackout betas this summer, you became aware that frequent communication and transparency was very important to us. Always getting that feedback and letting you know how the game was progressing along the way. Today is really a special broadcast because it's an extension of that philosophy. Think of this as a Reddit post, but with pictures. So to do that and to catch you up on what we have been doing with multiplayer and blackout since the betas, we are joined by Tony Flame and Matt Schruntz. And these guys are here to talk to us about multiplayer. In a little while, we will catch up with the Lord Vonderhaar to talk a little bit about blackout. But gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Are you stoked?
I'm super stoked to be able to talk to everybody, the fans, about what we've been up to. We've been having a ton of fun playing the game, what kind of changes we've been working on, and we actually have some footage to show as well.
I mean, the team's really been making quite a few updates.
Oh yeah, all over the place. Yep. New content, a lot of polishing touches on what's been there, and of course balance fixes. So there's lots to talk about.
All right. Well, I mean, since the beta, I mean, we've basically seen 8 additional maps or so previewed on our social channels. We've seen glimpses of new maps like Morocco and Militia, and so let's just get right into it and start talking weapons. Tony, tell us a little bit about what's in store on the weapons front.
Well, we've got a few new weapons coming in. One of them is going to be a new sniper rifle. So we know our fans love bolt-action sniper rifles. We've got another one to add to the selection. It's called the Outlaw.
Nice.
So the Outlaw its unique gameplay is going to be that it rechambers very quickly. So you can get that second shot on target if you got a hit marker or didn't end up finishing them off with that first shot. Now, of course, to compensate for that, it's going to be doing some lighter damage. You're going to have to hit higher up on the body to get that one-shot kill. It's a lot of fun to play with, very different from the other sniper rifles.
All right. So, if I'm not mistaken, we saw Nomad running around with the Hades, correct?
Yeah, the Hades is a new LMG, and you saw it looked different. There were some fans who commented on what that looked like in the trailer. It's a very unique LMG in that it has a very high fire rate. It's actually kind of a run-and-gun LMG. It's meant to be fired from the hip. Its attachments support that. You're seeing the crossbar operator mod here, which allows you to get tight accuracy while you can move around at full speed. So that is what you were seeing in the trailer there with Nomad was actually the bullet canister. That's where the bullets go.
Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the team has also brought in a new 3-round burst pistol.
Of course, yes. That's been a staple for the last few Black Ops games. A 3-round burst pistol. It's called the RK7 Garrison.
Okay.
And that is going to be a classic high fire rate pistol. It's going to kind of sit in the middle between the Strife and the Mozu, have its own unique gameplay, so that'll really round out the pistol class. So there's a lot of good options there as a secondary.
Okay. Well, let's move on to weapon tuning. Tony, talk to us about sort of what's been going on in the tuning front.
So over the last several games, we've been reining in the way that our approach to tuning weapons, getting tighter and tighter balance, and that's continued. We feel like we have got a really good, tight balance across weapons for launch. Mm-hmm. It's different this time because attachments are different on every weapon, so that's caused us to look at things differently, but it's also caused us to look at things more carefully. So we're really happy with where we're going to be at launch, and of course, the first few weeks, we'll be looking at any outliers and dialing things in to get the balance dialed in just right for the remaining weeks of October and into November.
Well, one of the new things that we're seeing in Black Ops 4 is the inclusion of operator mods. And if I'm not mistaken, the team's made a couple updates on that front too.
Yeah, absolutely. There are new operator mods that were on weapons that weren't actually in the beta. We're still working on getting those functional. So the shotguns have some changes to their operator mod. We have the Stray Lock, which is the Koshka is a sniper rifle that the operator mod was available in the beta. At the time, we called it the Speed Center. We had to get a Russian name for it. It's a Russian sniper rifle, so we're calling it the Stray Lock now. And what that does is it gives snipers increased accuracy while they're going ADS. Now, this wasn't completely dialed in at the time of the beta, but we wanted to get it in players' hands because we know that the best snipers in the world are out there. They're not sitting here in the studio. And, of course, they didn't disappoint by showing us how powerful they could be with that. So we've dialed it in. Now, rather than as soon as scoping in, getting that super tight accuracy, it's going to come in over the course of the scope-in period. So we'll be able to tune that and get that to just the right point so that it's balanced, and we'll see how players respond to it and get it dialed in just right. So it's going to be a lot more skill-based than it was in the beta.
Got it. Let's talk about the SOG 9mm operator mod.
Yeah, really excited about this one. So we've of course done dual wield before, but it's always a single attachment, and it's never really able to be as awesome as we want it to be. We want dual wield to be really powerful. We want you to feel really cool using it, and like you're standing a really good chance, and it's viable, and it's viable in a way that's balanced as well. So we were able to do that with operator mod. You have to pay extra points for it through the operator mod system, but we get it to make it extra powerful. We put it on the gun that it makes the most sense on, the SOG. It's the most compact submachine gun that we have in the game. So we have those dual-wield SOGs, which will be the operator mod for launch, and they're going to be a ton of fun to play with.
All right. Let's come back to the Outlaw and kind of take a look at sort of how it works with and without and with the operator mod. Why don't you talk us through what we see here?
So this is going to show how you've really got to get kind of a headshot or upper body shot to kill there, and you're going to have a single shot with the Outlaw at its base level with regular attachments. Now, when you put the operator mod on it, it's going to leverage that fast cycling nature of this, and it's going to turn into a 3-round burst sniper rifle. So you're going to be able to get 3 shots off very quickly. You hit 2 of those, and you're taking down your target. So it's very fun. It's very powerful. It's going to be balanced out by the fact that, as you can see there, you got limited rounds. So you're only going to get a few bursts before you're out of ammo. You're going to have to be on target. You're going to have to aim up. But, of course, it's an operator mod, very powerful. You've got to spend into it and create a class.
Tell me about the MOG 12.
MOG 12 is we changed up its operator mod. So in the beta, the operator mod would wound players that it hit. We got feedback, and we had even internally, people were feeling like this was frustrating. I got shot once, and now I can't heal. So we changed it up so that the Dragon's Breath now hits the players, and it's going to do a damage over time that's going to burn them. So what that's going to force the player to do is make a decision. I just got hit. I have to heal immediately, or I'm going to die. And that makes it a lot more dynamic in terms of the back and forth between what the shotgun player is going to do at that point. They can press the action, and they know that either that player is going to just stick it out and take the damage and try and fight back, or they're going to have to heal if they want to survive. So that kind of cat and mouse gameplay is a lot more interesting, a lot more balanced. So the Dragon's Breath is going to be improved in that way.
Well, also leans into sort of the tactical nature of the game.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. NVIR optic?
Yes, it's a new optic. It was not seen in the beta. It's our night vision and thermal combination. So there's some maps where enemies can take advantage of the lighting and hide in the shadows. This is going to help you find them in those maps. So it's available on a variety of guns. You can use it on different maps to combat that tactic. So it rounds out the optic selection for Black Ops 4.
Outstanding. All right, so quite a bit happening on the weapons front. How about we talk Scorestreaks? Matt, where are we at?
Well, to start off, we didn't want to kind of put all our cards on the table in the beta.
I had to save a little bit.
Well, you got to save a little bit.
Yeah.
Leave one more. So we have 3 new Scorestreaks that will be in the lineup for launch.
Okay.
That's going to be the Drone Squad.
Okay. Well, here, let's take a look at the Drone Squad. Tell us what we're looking at here.
So the Drone Squad is a squad of drones, as the name might have led on.
That's a squad of drones.
Yes.
Squad of drones. Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Let's play on
So you'll see there, you activate the drone squad, and you can see the lead drone there, and then the lead drone will have 2 little winged buddy drones. So this is a mid-tier Scorestreak. It's going to sit around the sentry gun and attack chopper level. We're still kind of working through how many kills we want this thing to get per use. But it's fun. You call it in. It's you've got 3 drones that will follow you throughout the map and help you take down any enemies that may try to put up a fight against you.
Got it. But that's not all. The team also included the new Sniper's Nest score streak.
Right.
Score streak.
It's not a snore streak.
There we go.
This is the opposite of snore streak.
I think I just got my new player ID right there. That's
So there we see the Sniper's Nest. Sniper's Nest are 2 professional snipers aboard a helicopter. You call this support in, and they're going to fly in. You're going to have a sniper on each door of the helicopter with a high-powered 50 cal sniper, and it's 1 shot, 1 kill. They're going to fly around and rain down from above. On the ground, we've done quite a bit of work to make that as as least frustrating as possible, as they can be as a 1-shot kill. So we've got some sniper glint when they target you. We've got lasers on their snipers. So really, when this thing gets called out by the enemy team, you don't want to be caught outside, and you really don't want to be caught outside not moving, because if you're not moving and they have line of sight on you, they're going to lay waste.
yeah.
I think we'll be following up with the YouTube channel for those snipers. Make sure to smash that like button for those guys.
Yeah, they each do have a YouTube channel. The
Do they
snipers.
really?
Yeah, they do.
Great.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, let's talk about their Twitter handles here in a second. And then there's a popular score streak that's making its return.
That is the Dart. The Dart was a favorite of mine and many others in Black Ops 3. So we brought it back. Slightly different visuals. We've some functionality changes. We wanted it in Black Ops 4 essentially to kind of be like a flying RCXD. So it's you can fly it around. You can pull right trigger to detonate it whenever you want to, or you can impact to detonate. And then another addition that we've added for Black Ops 4 is the ability to speed boost the Dart. So it's I loved it in Black Ops 3 because it's super fun to fly. It's still super fun to fly, and it's also great to take out score streaks. So you see a UAV or an attack chopper flying around, just throw that bad boy out and shoot for the moon.
And the team's also made some updates to score streaks that we've seen, such as the RCXD.
Yeah, the RCXD, we got a lot of feedback on that from the beta, that it was a little difficult to handle. I was having some trouble going upstairs. Battery might have been low. I don't know. We charged it up a bit, worked on the camera. So as you can see here, we've got a much smoother ride for launch day. And overall, it's just going to be a much more dependable score streak, as we would expect.
Got it. But that's not all.
It is not.
There's also been some updates to the gunship.
The gunship, yeah. So the gunship was performed fairly well in the beta. It didn't quite hit our targets as far as how many kills we'd like to see that thing get, or how long it's active. So we've made a slight tweak, and we've increased the duration that it cannot be locked onto after its flares are deployed. So for context there, if you target a gunship with your lock-on launcher and fire at it, that first rocket is going to cause the flares to deploy. And while those flares are still deployed from the gunship, you can't lock onto it again. I believe in the beta we had that at 5 seconds. We bumped that up a little bit more. As the highest score streak, we wanted to make sure that the person that earns that score streak gets enough time in there. So it's going to be a little bit longer before you can fire that second rocket at it.
Fair enough. But there have also been some smaller changes to the Mantis and the Strafe Run, which is now called the
Thresher. Thresher, yes. So I'll start with the Mantis. We've improved the targeting logic for the Mantis quite a bit. So we did do that between weekend 1 and weekend 2. We've made further improvements. We've also, we saw quite a few videos of the Mantis struggling to get upstairs and our bumpy terrain. So we've worked with the map team and on our side with the vehicle team, and for me specifically tuning friction and speed. So we want to make sure that the Mantis can go anywhere in the map and not have any struggle. So just like the RCXD, improvements overall should be a much smoother experience for that. Moving on to the Thresher, which was previously the artist formerly known as the Strafe Run.
Thresher is just going to be a symbol in the next game.
Yes, we'll work on it. So for the Thresher, again, didn't quite hit our targets. So with that, we've further improved some of the flight paths throughout the map. We actually go in and handcraft the flight pattern for the Thresher in each map. So we went through and kind of fine-tuned those to make sure that the path that it takes through the map is the most optimal. So we want to make sure that it has vision on the play space. And then on top of that, we've done some additional tuning on the rocket speeds, its chain gun speeds, and how much damage those are going to do.
If you could share how valuable sort of feedback has been on Reddit and Twitter, I mean, just the degree to which that has contributed to changes.
It's valuable across the board. I mean, we have, like I was saying before about our processes, we have a really sophisticated analytics pipeline. So we have all of the facts, but what we don't necessarily have is how people feel about those. So we have to understand kind of the emotional side of how people are reacting to what's going on. Sometimes we might have something that maybe looks underpowered, right? But people actually love it. And that's great for us because that means we don't need to mess with the balance in order for people to love it. Mm-hmm. And of course, vice versa too, right? Where people are having a big problem with something, regardless of the data, we've got to address that because it's important. Ultimately, our players, their experience and how they feel about the game is what's important. So regardless of what the objective numbers say, we have to take that into account. And also, all the positive feedback's great too. It helps keep the team motivated. Yeah, keep that coming. You know, we have a really passionate team here across hundreds of people, and reading that, you know, and reading the positivity that's kind of come out of the different betas has been a big bolster for our team. It's really, I've just seen it around the office. Everyone's really happy to have worked so hard on something that people are enjoying. So we love that too. We love both the criticisms, of course. And, you know, if people are enjoying it, we love hearing those nice words as well.
It also seemed to me that, like, during the multiplayer and blackout betas, that this was probably, I don't know, it was a renaissance of constructive feedback. Like, I've never seen so much positive feedback during a period.
Yeah. Like Tony said, I've said it to people throughout the office, but the kind words and the positive feedback really has energized us and kind of allowed us to really march hard towards the October 12th. We've been working on this game for a long time. It's as is the case with development, it's went through changes and you can get a little tired near the end, but those words they really do mean a lot and they've helped tremendously.
You got 5.5 hours of sleep last night, so you're
right. But I had I had an energy drink, so I'm good now.
All right.
Just one more thing to add to that. Even the back and forth debates that are going on online where there's different opinions out there, we look at those too. And sometimes there's a point buried in those that we can catch and that we may not have been thinking of. Yeah. So just all of the communication online, that's great. We really take it seriously and spend a lot of time going through it all so that we can make the best game that we can make for our fans.
All right. Let's get back to Scorestreaks and get to the chopper. Tell me about the attack chopper method.
The attack chopper was not where we expected it to be in the beta. We made some improvements between weekend 1 and weekend 2. Still didn't hit it. I think we've hit it now.
Yeah.
This puts the attack in attack chopper. It's some might say devastating. I don't want to.
Devastating score streak.
I don't. We'll see. I'll put it out there.
Okay.
But in the play tests, I hear people are freaking out and say who's got a launcher now instead of whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with where it's at. We'll put it out on October 12th and assess and go from there.
There have been some modifications made to how the strike team behaves.
Their navigation was a little less than stellar, so we spent a lot of time working on improving their navigation. That also goes hand in hand with the maps because they do. They have to work with the maps hand in hand. So we've smoothed out a lot of the maps and their logic. So that, again, another one should be a much more smoother experience, and those guys are going to go out there and get kills for you. This one's it's an easy one to swing too hard either way because it's 2 strike team members on the ground. Some might say you would expect them to be the same as a player health. But if that's the case, then they're not going to be, a high-tier score streaks or higher-tiered score streak that we want. So we're playing around with the numbers still. We're going to put it out there and assess, just like the weapons. We're going to check the analytics, see if it's hitting our goals, and if not, we'll work to get there.
let's move on to perks. If I'm not mistaken, there's a new one in the mix.
There is a new perk.
Skulker.
Skulker. Yes, Skulker. Skulker is one that we introduced in the Blackout beta. People loved it so much. We loved it internally so much, and you said, you know what? Let's add it to multiplayer. So we previously that was an attribute that was found on an attachment.
Stock 2. Yeah, Stock
right?
2.
So I said, we said, Tony, we're going to steal this. Sorry. Thank you, Tony.
The Skulkers won. Yes, the Skulkers won. But that's we had a really cool idea for that. So one of the new features that's kind of been fighting what we call drop shotting. Is that when you go prone in Black Ops 4, you put your hand down, take your hand off the gun so you can't stay ADS or aiming. So now Stock 2 is going to allow you to stay fully aiming while you go prone.